Hello, and welcome to the Walk to End Alzheimer's reunion. We're so glad that you've joined us today. It's always nice to come out together for a common cause like the vision of a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementia. It's also fitting that today's call is being held during National Volunteer Week. So whether you're a volunteer on the Walk Planning Committee, a team captain, or even if you're a participant, we salute you. Without our thousands of volunteers, we could not do our work to rid the world of Alzheimer's. Thank you. So as you get settled in, share in the chat your name, where you're from, and your favorite time or season of the year. My name is Jody Rudiger. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been involved with the walk for 3 years. I'm honored to be one of your hosts today.
And I'm your other host, Marissa Barnes. I live in Chicago, Illinois, and I've been involved with the walk for 4 years. Today is all about Walk to End Alzheimer's. One of the many things I love about this event is that it brings us all together for a common cause. During our time together, we'll meet with walkers from across the country who will share their stories and their inspiration, and we'll explore how the funds you raise provide programs and services in our communities. Here at the association, we believe in the power of purple. So you'll see me, my co-host Jody, and our speakers decked out in our Pez purple attire to show our support and commitment to this great cause. We hope that you're wearing purple proudly as well. If you are, take a selfie and post on social media using the hashtags WalkToEndAlls and EndAlls. We want you to leave even more motivated and energized, and this is an interactive call. So please use the chat box to ask any questions, respond, and comment.
So you've already used the chat to tell us what your favorite season is. Let's hear some of those responses. Christina from West Virginia, favorite season is summer. Sandra Kohler from my home state, Levittown, Pennsylvania, her favorite season is spring. And how about Cami from Michigan? Fall is fab. These are all great. And personally, my favorite season is also fall because of the crisp air, beautiful colors, and of course, it's walk season. What about you, Marissa? What's your favorite season?
I also love walk season. However, spring is definitely my favorite season. I love when the flowers begin to bloom, going on outdoor walks, and not having to deal with the Chicago snow. And my personal favorite iced coffee drink this time of year, pistachio lattes. Now that we have made our introductions, I just wanted to take a quick moment to recognize our national sponsors of the Walk to End Alzheimer's, CVS and Edward Jones. Thank you both for your ongoing support. We also have several national teams supporting our efforts, and of course, we can't forget you. You represent the many communities that support this event from coast to coast. Thank you. Last year was a tough year, but so many of you continued your support to join us to walk on sidewalks, tracks, and trails in your communities, and we are so grateful. I wanted to share with you a very exciting result from all of your hard work in fundraising. The Walk to End Alzheimer's was named the #2 fundraising event in the nation peer-to-peer top 30. The peer-to-peer top 30 analyzes all of the charity walks, cycling events, and runs in the nation and ranks us by highest to lowest fundraisers. Even during a pandemic, we moved from the #3 spot in 2019 to the #2 spot in 2020, and we are so proud. We couldn't have achieved this without you. Alzheimer's Association supporters are truly the best, so make sure you stay on this webinar until the very end, because we have an exciting challenge to announce that I'm sure you all are going to crush. What do you think, Jody?
Oh, absolutely. I know we're going to crush it. I know that the passion we see is personal, and we all walk for different reasons. I walk for a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementia, and because of that, I hold the orange flower. When my dad passed 3 years ago, he didn't have Alzheimer's. He was able to plan his funeral with me. He was able to spend his last days calling his friends and having them visit. He transitioned at home on his terms. I want that for everyone. The Promise Garden flowers are a big part of the walk. Each color represents a different reason why you support the Alzheimer's Association. I've shared with you what orange means, but we also have the yellow flower for those who support or care for someone living with Alzheimer's or all other dementia. Purple for those who have lost someone to Alzheimer's or other dementia, and blue for our participants who have Alzheimer's or other dementia. Last year, many of you took to social media to share your why, like Amy in Hawaii, who walked in honor of her mother, who has younger onset Alzheimer's, and Dan in Ohio, who honored his grandmother by participating. Sonia in Tennessee's family and friends joined her to walk in memory of her mother, who battled the disease. Alzheimer's Association celebrity champions shared their why as well. Kimberly Paisley Williams, star of one of the best wedding films, Father of the Bride, walked in memory of her mother. We also spotted Sarah Rafferty from the hit show Suits, who walked in honor of her Nana, and Adrian Amos, strong safety for the Green Bay Packers, tackled Alzheimer's by raising funds in memory of his grandmother and challenging others to join him. So tell us in the chat, what's your why? Who do you walk for? And what flower do you hold? Marissa, while the audience is sharing, we'd love to hear why you walk.
When I first started working at the Alzheimer's Association, I didn't have a personal connection and wanted to also walk for all of those who had Alzheimer's and other dementia. Now I carry the yellow flower. Recently, my grandmother was diagnosed with vascular dementia, and while I continue to still walk for those with Alzheimer's and all other dementia, my grandmother Gladys still has a special place in my heart. Our first speaker today actually didn't realize her why until she took a job as a caregiver at a memory care facility. Here to tell you more is Jessica Woodhead from the Walk to End Alzheimer's Boulder. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for volunteering as a team captain.
Thank you, Marissa. Hi, my name is Jessica Woodhead, and I am a team captain of University of Colorado Against Alzheimer's, as well as a volunteer on this year's Walk to End Alzheimer's Planning Committee. When I entered my freshman year at CU Boulder almost 3 years ago, I had no clue what Alzheimer's was or the extent to which it affects the older population. I was oblivious because why wouldn't I be? I was 18, had no friends or family with the disease, and had no chance of it affecting me personally at such a young age. This all changed when I took a job as a caregiver in the memory care department at Sunrise Senior Living. I was thrown into a world where everyone I met, my coworkers, the residents, and their family members, lives revolved around the disease. I was privileged enough to walk alongside these individuals in their most uncertain, difficult, and terrifying times. I found myself wanting to do more for them, as I quickly came to realize that I could not offer them the care and support that they needed all by myself. The Alzheimer's Association provides such resources. So I decided to join the walk in honor of all my residents, past and present, who have been affected by Alzheimer's, as well as their families, and also for myself, my future, and the future of others in my generation. Deciding to get myself involved with the walk felt like a great first step, but it wasn't enough. I knew that one of the most important ways to bring attention to a cause is to rally the troops and spread the message. Specifically, I wanted to bring more awareness to my college campus and to all the kids that were probably just like I was freshman year, oblivious to a disease that they didn't think would affect them. So I decided to start my club, CU Against Alzheimer's, to bring kids together for weekly meetings that would allow us to learn more about the disease, how it will affect our futures medically, economically, and personally, and what we can do to help. After getting my friends interested and creating a group of officers, we started using social media platforms to find new members interested in joining. I was surprised by how many of my peers started messaging me directly, telling me how Alzheimer's had recently taken away their grandparents too soon. There were also students who were hospice volunteers and caregivers, all excited to get involved with the club. We wrote letters to the residents at Sunrise so they didn't feel as isolated during the pandemic, and brought in guest speakers who talked about the highly personal impact of Alzheimer's, which gave students who had no prior experience with the disease a connection and exposed its far-reaching effects. We promptly signed our 15-person team up for the walk and started fundraising, finding that our community was so excited to support us. After signing our team up, we started fundraising, finding that our college community was so excited to support us. We had great success with creating and selling t-shirts, hoodies, and stickers with an Alzheimer's ribbon and various other designs. as well as partnering with local restaurants for profit share events, or even just reaching out to family and friends who wanted to support the walk. In less than 6 months, our team managed to raise over $5,500 for our first walk. So I challenge you, who can you rally to bring more awareness to the disease? I can't wait to see what we accomplish this year and every future year until we can stand proudly next to the first survivor. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jessica. It's so inspiring to see how you've formed an Alzheimer's group on your campus to teach people more about this disease that affects so many. And thank you for that challenge to rally the people we know. As you said, I wrote down the name of my neighbor, Ruth. Let us know who you're going to rally with to join you at the walk. Unfortunately, this population is growing. More than 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease, and as of 2020, 11 million people are caregivers. So many of you are providing care for a loved one, and we salute you. Chris from Illinois is a self-described millennial, provides care for her grandmother, who she lovingly calls Grams. Elenita of Northern California is the primary caregiver for her husband, Dennis, who's been living with Alzheimer's for the last 4 years. And Ramona is a caregiver for her mother in Northern California.
You're right, Marissa. Caregivers are so vital to those with Alzheimer's disease and other dementia. They are a source of companionship and support. Next, I'd like to introduce Carlos Olivas, a volunteer and caregiver from Sacramento, California, who is here to share his journey with us.
Hello, my name is Carlos Olivas. As Jody mentioned, I am a caregiver as well as a volunteer on the Sacramento Walk to End Alzheimer's Planning Committee, one of the top 30 walks in the country. I also serve as captain of the team, Charlie Robot. Charlie Robot is a nickname I gave my dad because he's like a robot who creates works of art. My journey with Alzheimer's started with a call from my dad's dentist, stating they had concerns regarding his health. From there, it was a roller coaster ride. There were challenges with obtaining a proper diagnosis. And once it was determined he suffered from Alzheimer's, there was the misunderstanding of this complex disease and the many stages of personal grief that followed. My role as a primary caregiver for my soon-to-be 80-year-old dad varies from day to day. He is a veteran of the U.S. Navy and served as a submariner during the Vietnam War and the Cuban Missile Crisis. As I mentioned, he is a very talented artist with a vast collection of his own works, which I am in the process of archiving. It is a joy to see his positivity while he navigates this disease, which makes me proud to serve as his caregiver. He deserves a lot of dignity, and I'm happy to be in this role. Like many other caregivers, I hesitated, I resisted, I denied my need for support early on. When I couldn't deny it anymore, I called the Alzheimer's Association's helpline. I'm so thankful that I was able to speak with someone who knew exactly what I was going through and was able to provide resources. Without that phone number, I may not have made it to this point in my journey. Someone at the helpline was there to speak with me whenever I called. I finally attended a caregiver support group and was welcomed without fear or judgment. The first words out of my mouth were, "I hate Alzheimer's." And the other fellow caregivers in that group said, "Welcome to the club." That's when I knew I found a safe place to let it out. The crying, the venting, the laughter, and most of all, the hope to endure. The journey has been long and very tiring, but I find that being involved with support groups and volunteering helps me cope, embrace, and overcome. Now as a result of that initial call to the helpline. I have some answers, and most of all, I feel supported. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Carlos, for sharing your helpline experience with us. I'm so glad you were able to find the guidance and comfort you needed. Staff are available 24/7 at 1-800-272-3900 as a resource to you. Very rarely do those who have used the helpline get to meet the person on the other end of the line who served as a resource for them. But Carlos, we have a very special surprise for you. This is, after all, a reunion. So in the spirit of reuniting people, we have Julia with us, who took your fateful call 2 years ago. Welcome, Julia.
Thank you, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. And thank you so much, Carlos. It's wonderful to hear your story. And I'm just so grateful that you reached out to us all the way back in 2019 and that the connection has continued.
I'm kind of speechless. I don't know what to say. I mean, you don't know how much your support meant to me. And I'm really, I was really frustrated at the time, and I just didn't know what to really do at that point.
And I think that's exactly why we're here. And it's why so many people call us. And right, I mean, being available, I think 24/7 is really key, that people have someone that they can speak to right there in that moment when they are finally ready to talk about what they've been going through.
Exactly. I mean, it's not just for caregiving. I mean, I've reached out multiple times for information about support groups, educational programs, the workshops, just the assortment of resources that the Alzheimer's Association provides. And I'm very grateful that I'm a part of this.
And that makes me so happy to hear. I mean, again, I thank you not only for what you're doing for your dad, but also for speaking like this about how helpful it's been to you. It's the connection that we can make over the phone with people is much more powerful than I originally thought when I first started working on the helpline. As a social worker, I just kind of felt like, how am I going to connect or be helpful if I'm not in person, right, with the caregiver or the family member that's suffering with the disease? And the truth is, as you've just pointed out, I've had almost the opposite experience hearing from people about how helpful it is to call and talk to someone on the helpline. I think for a lot of people, just being able to talk to someone outside of their situation, outside of what they're coping with their loved one every day, it helps to gain some new perspective. I talk to lots of caregivers like yourself that gain kind of a greater insight as to some of the struggles that they're having and some of the things that might be helpful to them. And when this occurs during a call, I know I've reached someone who possibly maybe felt very alone in their caregiving efforts. And I that's the part about the helpline that I think is really invaluable.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia.
No, and thank you. And I think it's also wonderful, like as you've pointed out in your story, that a lot of times what I feel like is most helpful during those calls is being able to connect people locally with the amazing services that so many of our local chapters have. The support groups and the education programs, I know, right, even from hearing your story and hearing lots of other people on the helpline, are a lifeline for many caregivers. And being able to close a call that I have on the helpline by being able to offer those local connections, that way I feel like I can offer something beyond just what we've talked about in the call. And I mean, to see and hear how positive your experience has been is just extremely validating for me as a worker on the helpline.
I think that's great. I
Okay.
mean, I know that a lot of people are on this group. I mean, I for one is a testament to what you as yourself has provided.
Well, and again, I think the helpline is, in our story, obviously that's how we connected, and that's how you've continued, I think, getting support and being a supporter too of other people through this. And so now we have Wendy Roth, our Senior Associate Director of the helpline, with a lot more information about what the helpline is and how it functions.
Thank you, Julia and Carlos. As Julia mentioned, our helpline is available 24/7. In March of 2020, we transitioned the helpline to be 100% remote for the safety of our staff. We are so proud that through this transition, there was absolutely no disruption in the availability of the helpline. Through the pandemic, we have been available to families who are more isolated and overwhelmed. On average, we receive about 4,000 calls per week. We are available to provide information, referrals, education, and information about association initiatives, like the Walk to End Alzheimer's. The most common types of calls we receive involve disease education, information about obtaining a diagnosis, difficult behaviors of persons living with dementia, and emotional support for caregivers. We also have care consultants available around the clock. These master's level clinicians are available for crisis assistance, safety issues, and care planning, which we know is so important. We often hear from people during a low moment or on their very worst day, but we are always available when people need us. Money raised for the Walk to End Alzheimer's directly funds the 24/7 helpline. So the funds you raise make what we do possible. And for that, I just want to thank you so much.
This was such an amazing encounter. Can you believe that the helpline receives 4,000 calls per week? So many people need support and answers. So I challenge you to take this number, 800-272-3900, back to your team and others in your life who may need help. Alzheimer's is affecting more and more people each day, and the disease affects all populations. Take a look at our latest facts and figures video. Here to talk more about how Alzheimer's affects on diverse populations and what the Alzheimer's Association is doing in response to this is our Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, Dr. Carl Hill.
Oh, thanks so much for having me here. I'm so happy, and I just feel the energy and the enthusiasm, and what such an impactful video and special report in the facts and figures. Thanks to all for participating today and for all that you do for the Alzheimer's Association. Your participation, support, and leadership is so important. Walk is our largest portal to the association, and it's how we can connect to many different people and communities. This is important because, as was mentioned earlier, there are over 6 million people living with Alzheimer's. By 2050, that number is expected to double. And we know that Black and Latino communities are hardest hit by Alzheimer's and other dementia. We also know that diversity among the older population, the older adult population, is expected to increase, with approximately 15 million more older Latinos, 10 million older Black Americans, and 8 million older adults from other underrepresented racial and ethnic groups by 2050. Therefore, it's important that our work together, our support together, our leadership together pushes the boundaries that allow for more engagement with all communities that can benefit from the enormous, plentiful resources that the Alzheimer's Association can provide. So this is an important call to action. More diversity, including here at Walk, looking around to see who is missing, who needs to be here with us. More inclusion, this is where everyone, and I do mean everyone, all of us, can be intentional about inviting a friend or colleague from an underrepresented group, speaking up for those not here, being intentional, taking action, doing it. And when we identify and ask these communities to join us, when we are successful, and we all take important steps that pursue equity through walk, through research, through engagement, through everything that we do to ensure that everyone and all communities have the resources that they and we need to combat Alzheimer's and other dementia. A call to action for all of us: diversity, who is not here, being intentional about inclusion, and pursuing equity in Alzheimer's. What we know, giving people the resources that we know they need. We all have a role to play. Starts here today. So thank you for your support and leadership as we strive for a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementia for all people in all communities. Thank you and salute.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hill. What great information. Alzheimer's affects everyone, and we need to make sure we're including everyone. So I know I'm definitely going to be reaching out to those in my community that need to be included in these efforts. To download a full copy of the latest facts and figures guide, please visit our website at alz.org/facts. Now, at a typical reunion, we would eat some of our favorite foods together, but that's really hard to do over Zoom. But we're connecting, we're sharing stories, we're catching up, which is typical of a reunion. And another staple of reunion is to play games, and we can definitely do that. So throughout the rest of the call, there will be some trivia questions, and we want you to use the poll feature to answer. The poll will pop up on your screen, and all you have to do is click on the answer of your choice. Bragging rights to those who get all of the answers right. Marissa, are you ready to get us started?
Absolutely. Let's see if you all are ready. Here's the first question. Over the past 3 years, how many teams have participated in the Walk to End Alzheimer's? Is it A, 250,050, B, 177,909, or C, 100,300? Please use this poll to answer. So we'll get back to you in about 20 seconds or so. But while we wait, I want to know who's all registered and ready to walk. Well, if you aren't yet, you can go to alz.org/walk and register today. Who do you know that you can invite to participate this year? As mentioned earlier, Walk is a community event and even more fun with a team. If you're a past team captain, your team members might be waiting on you to register before they join. So take that first step today. An easy way to register and manage your fundraising is through the mobile app, which can be downloaded quickly by scanning the QR code that is currently on your screen, or by visiting the app or the Google Play Store. While the mobile app, you can complete many functions that you'd find on the website, including creating a Facebook fundraiser, texting your contacts, and depositing checks, just to name a few. So the answer to the poll is B. We're so grateful that for all of the team captains that participate in the Walk to End Alzheimer's and are excited to add lots of additional team captains this year. Speaking of team captains, like many of you, our next speaker is a team captain and walks in memory of her beloved grandmother and the Walk to End Alzheimer's of Richmond, Virginia. Here to share more with you today is April Tolliver.
Hello, my name is April Tolliver, and the fight to cure Alzheimer's is very personal. My maternal grandma, Georgia Woolfolk Nelson, or Nanny, as I called her, was so special to me. I remember as a small child going to visit her, and she was always so happy and full of life. She was a very strong, God-fearing woman that left footprints in many hearts along her journey. I still reminisce on our walks to church on Sundays, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches she would prepare me for lunch, and sitting in her lap watching The Price is Right while we enjoyed her favorite snack, 7-Up and honey buns. Nanny was always very organized and neat. She had to be, as a mother of 9 children. She told the best stories, mostly about how she grew up on her father's farm and all the work her and her siblings would do. I loved her storytelling. It really brought people together. When Nanny was diagnosed in the late 80s, early 90s, we didn't know where to turn for support. The term Alzheimer's was seldomly used. They called it senility. At first, it started with minor slips of memory or confusion, forgetting someone's name or misplacing things. And to brush it off, she would say, "My thinking factors aren't working." Then it became more aggressive, where she was found wandering at night outside of her home. The scariest was when she left the stove on and caused a small fire. The stories were gone, and instead there were episodes where she would stare at something vacantly. Nanny lost her ability to walk and eventually her ability to eat. It was the disease, slowly shivering the part of her brain that takes care of her physical processes and basic functions. I did not lose my nanny April 4th, 1992. I lost her many times over the course of her fight with Alzheimer's. Although young, watching my nanny go through this experience led me to want to take action. After seeing a commercial on television, I started a team. I've been walking and raising money and awareness as a part of the Walk to End Alzheimer's since 2011, in memory of her. We named our team Georgia on My Mind to honor Nanny and her beautiful spirit. We started with only 5 team members, and last year, even during a pandemic, our team had over 25 members, including family and friends, spanning over 4 generations. This was one of the ways I honor my nanny. How did we recruit so many people? Through storytelling, of course. I took a cue from Nanny and will share why I walk with anyone who will listen. I found that so many people have a loved one with Alzheimer's, and we continue to connect and grow this way. Share why you walk on social media. Tell friends, neighbors, and coworkers. This is the best way to get more people to support you. My team really looks forward to the walk every year. The energy is indescribable. All of my family, friends, and community members that come out to support the cause, and my favorite storyteller is nothing short of remarkable. So I challenge you, update your personal page, post on social media, and become a storyteller like me and my dear nanny, and watch your team grow.
April, I love how you've used your why to inspire others to join your team. Storytelling is so important. You never know who will be moved to act when you share. One way to share your story is through social media, and specifically the use of Facebook fundraisers. Facebook Fundraiser enables you to fundraise directly on Facebook, but the donations received will still show up on your personal fundraising webpage and be included in your overall walk totals. Remember, your Facebook fundraiser has to be set up through your participant center. Time for another quick trivia question. Walkers who use Facebook Fundraiser raise on average blank more than those who don't. Is it A, $386, B, $55, or C, $2,000? Let's see what you think. Take a few seconds to answer using the poll feature. While you answer, let's go over just how easy it is to set up that Facebook fundraiser. First, you want to log into your participant center. On the dashboard, click Connect to Facebook. You'll be prompted to log into your Facebook account with your account credentials. And that's it. Your Facebook fundraiser will be created using the personal story, photo, and goal from your walk fundraising page. You'll also get the blue Facebook fundraiser badge on your personal webpage. We know that not everyone is comfortable asking for money, so Facebook fundraising makes it easy for you to share your story and connect with others. It also allows you to let everyone you know that you're raising money for Alzheimer's without having to make that direct ask. One of my best tips for using Facebook Fundraiser is to not just post it on your timeline, but to share the link in Messenger so that you can personally invite each and every one of your friends and family to donate. Because when someone opens Facebook, they have about 1,500 items that they could scroll through each day, so they may not see it. By using Messenger, you can make sure that they receive your story and your ask. So going back to our question, the correct answer is A, $386. Walkers who use Facebook Fundraiser raise on average $386 more than those who don't. So what are you waiting for? Set up your Facebook fundraiser today. We are excited that we will be moving forward. See, I'm so excited, I can't even talk. That we're moving forward, hosting the walk in person this fall. But we will also offer options to participate in your neighborhood for those that are more comfortable walking a little closer to home. We're working diligently to make sure this is a safe and fun experience for all. But the most important thing is that we will walk. As fall nears, decisions will be made to help mitigate individual and community health risks in accordance with CDC, state, and federal guidelines. With these guidelines ever changing, we are being nimble. Your safety remains our top priority as we work to continue to create a safe and enjoyable walk day for all. And you will be the first to know about these plans. Alzheimer's isn't stopping, and neither are we. Speaking of not stopping, Tom Rush has supported the walk for 5 years, and he's one of the top 100 fundraising participants in the country. Way to go, Tom. He has some great tips to share that can be easily replicated. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Jody. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Rush. I'm a committee member for the Sacramento Walk to End Alzheimer's and team captain for Team Snail for the past 3 years. Our walk is proud to be part of one of the top 30 walks in the nation. Team Snail is also one of the top 50 fundraising teams, and through the generosity of family and friends, they have placed me in the top 100 fundraisers. I have a very good reason for my involvement and dedication to the Alzheimer's Association and Walk to End Alzheimer's. In early 2017, my wife Linda was diagnosed with late-stage Alzheimer's dementia. This was devastating to our family and friends. Linda was in great shape. She went to the gym every day and was a runner as well, so we never saw this coming. To watch this horrendous disease start taking over her body was very tough. Linda passed 2 years after her diagnosis with family members by her side. This disease has taken my wife of nearly 50 years, my best friend, the greatest mother and Jima, sister and aunt, away from us. You might be wondering how we came up with the name of our team. Well, Team Snail started in 1991 while walking in the Beta Breakers race in San Francisco. The professional runners were done before we reached the starting line, hence the name Team Snail. At that time, we had only 15 members. In 1999, when my sister-in-law was diagnosed with breast cancer, our team shirts were turned pink to support those who have survived the disease. Our team shirts have stayed pink ever since. After Linda passed, we decided that we would devote ourselves to raising funds to find a cure for Alzheimer's. I realized that we needed something other than our name and shirts to turn heads. That's when I decided to paint my truck purple with our team and Alzheimer's logo on the sides. Each time I took it on the road, I noticed people honking, waving, giving me thumbs up. That's when I knew that this would be a great addition to our team. The truck encourages people to share their connection to Alzheimer's. We continue to grow each year because every team member connects with their family and friends to explain why they're raising funds for the Alzheimer's Association. We use email, telephone, social media to get our message out. Some people join and some people donate. This creates a ripple effect, enabling us to grow every year. Sharing stories of loved ones impacted by this disease helps others feel welcome to join us. This year, we will have approximately 75 walkers on the team. So our fundraisers include driving the truck throughout the Northern California, Nevada County area for some important exposure and awareness. We purposely picked areas where we lacked participation in our event and handed out flyers to businesses for their windows. I also plan to drive the truck to car shows, county fairs, and anywhere we can safely do so. We'll set up our table and ask for donations to the Alzheimer's Association's Sacramento Walk through Team Snail. We also set up our Alzheimer's awareness table in front of our wonderful Walmart stores and hand out literature to those who need it and give almost free balloons to the kids. For both fundraisers, we take all precautions, including face masks and social distancing during the pandemic. We have introduced our marble tile paperweights with Walk to End Alzheimer's, Hope, and Team Snail logo on them. For a minimum donation of $33 to Sacramento Walk to End Alzheimer's Team Snail, you will receive the design of your choice. And one of our biggest fundraisers is encouraging our family and friends to fundraise on Facebook. We have so many people set up Facebook fundraisers. It's an amazing feeling to have people support your efforts and help you achieve your goal. This, I believe, can be one of our greatest successes. Flood your social media with your reason to walk. This is the best way to raise funds. Alzheimer's and dementia is a relentless disease, but we are too. We will not stop until we find a cure. It may be too late for Linda, but it's not too late for our children and grandchildren. We walk for their future. So here's the deal. You know who we are, what we're about, why we walk, and how to raise funds. Why not register your team now and get started recruiting family and friends? Or you can search Team Snail and join us in the fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Tom. Those are some great ideas. I don't know about you, but I'm really, really excited to ask more people to join my team and fundraise. And remember, once you raise $100, your official Walk to End Alzheimer's t-shirt will be mailed to you. You are eligible for a walk incentive prize at $300, and at $500, you've moved to the rank of a champion. So now it's trivia time again. You're all really getting good at this. So what percentage of participant funds were raised by our champions last year? Please use the poll to answer. Is it A, 75%, B, 12%, or C, 59%? While you answer, here's a bit more info about the Champions Club. Once you've fundraised $500, your Champions medal, as you see it right here, which is very beautiful, and your yard sign will be mailed directly to you. As you achieve these higher levels, which are Grand Champion at $1,000 and Elite Grand Champion at $2,500, those prizes will also be sent to you. In addition to these prizes, our champions will receive special recognition from your local walk staff. Now, back to the question. The answer is C, 59%. Yes, can you believe that champions raise that much? We're so grateful for all of you who have been members of the Champions Club or have reached champion status already in 2021. If you were a champion in 2020 or are a current champion, put your name in the chat so we can congratulate you. Last, but certainly not least, I'd like to welcome Megan Calabro from Kansas City, Missouri. Megan is not only a champion, but she captains a corporate team that is one of the top 50 fundraising teams in the country. Welcome, Megan.
Hi there. And actually, it looks like I'm not able to start my video here because I think, can one of the co-hosts turn me back on? Awesome. Okay. Sorry about that. Good morning, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. My name is Megan Calabro, and as a kid, I was introduced to Alzheimer's disease through my grandfather. Both he and his father suffered from early onset Alzheimer's. And honestly, I assumed there would be a cure for the disease by the time my dad came kind of age. And so I didn't really worry about it too much. But alas, my dad's story with Alzheimer's progressed faster than science. He started showing signs around age 60, but he did everything possible to minimize the impacts. As a college professor, he took copious notes. His secretary helped to make sure he left his office in time to get to the lecture hall on time, and he always parked in the optical aisle at Walmart. But even with those precautions, it became abundantly clear that something was really wrong. When the neurologist explained that dad probably didn't have the capacity to teach anymore, he was devastated. But the next day, mom and dad went to the university and put in his retirement notice. The next couple of years were a blur of terrible progressions from one phase of the disease to the next. I remember getting phone calls from worried neighbors. They would see dad out on the roof trying to clean the gutters or chasing after the dog who had escaped out the front door for the umpteenth time. We knew that something had to change. So my sister, who lived in the same town as our parents, quit her job and started daddy daycare, or daycare for our daddy. She became dad's caregiver while simultaneously caring for her 2 toddler sons, and I was tasked with being his financial conservator. Eventually, my dad's disease progressed to the ugly phase where he was fairly aggressive. Again, we were at a turning point. When a room freed up at a local memory care facility, we made the tough decision to move dad. Through all those phases, my sister and I were completely reliant upon the Alzheimer's Association. I can't tell you how many times I called, crying, needing help navigating the next issue, and someone was always there to help me. So several years after all of this began, and my dad was in a somewhat stable condition, I finally felt like I could breathe a little. My sister and I finally realized that it was time for us to give back to the Alzheimer's Association, the association that helped us through so many challenges already. So that's when I decided to get involved with the Walk to End Alzheimer's. My first year, we created a family team in the South Dakota Walk. And the next year, I created a team at work. Our corporate team started out simply through word of mouth and emails to staff in my department, and our team members kept growing every year. Through sharing my experience with my father, I've found so many others who are affected as well. About half of the members of our team have a personal connection to Alzheimer's, and the rest are just supporting friends or colleagues. I still remember gathering with the team at my first Kansas City walk. The support from my friends and the corporate community was truly overwhelming, and it really took everything I had to hold back the tears that day. Since then, not only have I deepened my involvement with the walk through serving on the committee and as the co-chair, but my company has become more involved as well. Believe it or not, the majority of our team's fundraising is achieved through email and Facebook fundraising, especially last year when online resources were all we really had. We had also partnered with some local bars and restaurants for fundraisers pre-pandemic, but we switched gears and worked with the Alzheimer's Association to provide educational webinars to our employees to increase awareness of the walk and build our team. I love sending out picture thank you cards to all the team members and donors after each year's walk. It's a fun, unique way to remind people of the impact of their generosity, and I regularly see these pictures hanging on cube walls throughout the office. It's a great way to keep the Walk to End Alzheimer's top of mind throughout the year. In terms of my corporate team, we've now participated in 5 walks, and last year we managed to raise over $60,000, even with the challenges brought on by COVID. I will be forever grateful to the Alzheimer's Association for the care and support that they've provided us throughout our challenges with the disease. And now I raise funds and walk to support others and to drive research for treatment and a cure for the first survivor. Won't you join me in getting your company involved? Walk has been an important way to build connection and camaraderie at my company, and it's helped us to stand out in our community. Let your higher ups and your coworkers know what this cause means to you and ask for their support by starting a team. I think you'll be surprised by how many people have been impacted by Alzheimer's and are willing to join in the fight.
Thank you, Megan. I know we all miss collaborating with our coworkers in person, but the walk is a great way to safely get the team back together. With 11 million caregivers in the US, chances are there's someone affected by this disease where you work. What a great way to show solidarity. Company walk teams can be any size and are a good team building activity, encourage health and wellness, and provide a way to give back to the community. Start a company team today at alz.org/walk. Now, as promised, we have one final challenge for you, a 21-day step challenge. Beginning on May 9th, use your Walk mobile app to track your steps. Track at least 6,000 steps per day to honor the more than 6 million Americans living with Alzheimer's. You can share your progress on social media. You'll gain access to fundraising messages to include as well. This is a great way to get or stay active and let others know that you're participating in the walk. If you complete the challenge by walking at least 126,000 steps, and I know you can do it, you'll receive a 21-day challenge badge on your Walk Participant Center. So let's get going and flood our social media with our progress. Remember to use the hashtags, #walk2endalls or #endalls. Marissa, is your calendar marked?
You know it is, not only for the step challenge, but also for my local walk on September 18th. It was so much fun spending time together to reunite and get inspired for walk. If you missed something today, don't worry, we'll send up a follow email with a recording of this call and links to register. So like Tom said earlier, what are you waiting for? Register now, and if you're already registered, start or build your team with your friends, family, neighbors, and coworkers. Be among the first to register and receive a set of walk flags to carry with you on walk day. If you've already received your flags, put them out proudly for all to see. And if you have any questions or need support, your local staff partner is always ready to help. Please use them as a resource. Undoubtedly, you've most likely received a phone call or an email from them, but if you don't know who your staff partner is, you can always locate them on alz.org/walk or our 24/7 helpline number that is on the screen. And last but not least, a special thank you to all of today's speakers and to all of you out there. We can't wait to walk with you this fall.
Thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you.